Imagine this, a sharp-eyed 10-year-old girl, forced onto a massive stage in front of 90,000 roaring spectators, her heart pounding as she performs acts so shocking and brutal that even the wildest parts of ancient Rome would ban them. She's not just surviving, she's watching every face in the crowd, noticing how the powerful men lose control, storing away their weaknesses like weapons. How does this kid, with her quick mind and unbreakable spirit, not just escape the nightmare, but rise to become the most dangerous empress in history, ordering the slaughter of 30,000 people and rewriting laws that still echo today? That's the dark, twisted tale of Theodora, a victim who turned her pain into raw power, with secrets from her past that'll make your skin crawl. Welcome to Silent Historian, where we dive into the shadowy corners of history with stories full of drama, revenge, and real lessons. Today, we're uncovering the life of Theodora, from the gritty underbelly of the Hippodrome to the blood-soaked throne of the Byzantine Empire. If you're curious and ready to join me on this wild ride, hit that like button to show your support and drop a comment with Theodora to share what you think about a woman who clawed her way to the top like no one else. Let's set the scene in the Byzantine Empire around the 6th century. This wasn't some dusty old kingdom. It was a powerhouse, with Constantinople as its buzzing capital, a city of golden domes, massive crowds, and cutthroat politics. Think of it like a mix of ancient Rome and modern-day sports rivalries on steroids. The people were divided into two big factions, the Blues and the Greens. These weren't just fan clubs for chariot races. They were like political parties that controlled jobs, entertainment, and even who got ahead in government. Your team decided your whole life, friends, enemies, opportunities. Into this chaotic world steps Theodora. Born around 497 AD, she starts as a nobody, but ends up as co-ruler alongside Emperor Justinian, one of history's big shots. Their partnership rebuilt cities, conquered lands, and created laws that shaped the Western world. But Theodora's story? It's darker. She wasn't born royal. She fought her way up from abuse and betrayal, using her sharp smarts and grit to flip the script on everyone who wronged her. Even as a kid, she had that edge. A girl who noticed everything, turning every glance and whisper into a lesson for survival. A quick heads up. A lot of what we know comes from a guy named Procopius, a court historian who wrote a secret book spilling all the dirt. Some of it might be exaggerated for drama. Think ancient gossip. But it mixes with real facts from other sources, painting a picture of a woman who turned trauma into triumph. Stick around as we break down her journey, from a kid in the spotlight of horror to an empress pulling strings in the shadows. You won't believe how one person's pain reshaped an empire. Picture this. A terrified 10-year-old girl, heart racing like a drum, shoved onto the massive stage of Constantinople's Hippodrome, where 80,000 bloodthirsty spectators roar like wild beasts. The air's thick with sweat and excitement, the torches flickering like demons in the night, and she's stripped bare, forced to endure acts so twisted and humiliating they'd make even the most hardened ancient Roman turn away in disgust. This isn't entertainment. It's a living hell, a machine designed to crush innocent kids like Theodora. But what if I told you this nightmare didn't destroy her? It ignited a fire that would burn down empires. Welcome back to Silent Historian, where we're plunging deeper into Theodora's chilling rise, turning childhood horror into unstoppable revenge. Let's flash back to Constantinople in 504 AD, a city pulsing with danger and deceit. Theodora's dad, Acacius, was the star bearkeeper for the Green faction, wrangling massive, snarling beasts into epic battles at the Hippodrome, the ultimate arena of thrills and spills. Imagine it as the Super Bowl on steroids, but laced with death. Lightning-fast chariot races that end in crashes, ferocious animal fights spraying blood across the sand, and performances that push every boundary of decency. The Greens and their bitter enemies, the Blues, weren't mere cheering squads. They were ruthless political mobs, pulling strings behind the scenes, handing out jobs, doling out favors, and crushing anyone who crossed them. Loyalty to your faction meant survival. Betrayal meant ruin. Then, disaster strikes. Theodora's just 7 when her dad drops dead out of nowhere, leaving her mom and 2 sisters staring at starvation. The Greens should have had their back, it's the unwritten rule. Passing the job to the family to keep them afloat. But greed rears its ugly head. A crooked insider, Asterius the dance master, pockets a fat bribe and sells the position to some outsider. Boom, just like that. Theodora's world shatters. No protection, no food, no future. It's a knife in the back that cuts deep. Desperate and broken, her mom pulls off a gut-wrenching stunt. She decks out her 3 little girls, Theodora, and her sisters in pathetic laurel wreaths, turning them into begging props, and marches them into the hippodrome's roaring chaos. Picture the humiliation. A mother thrusting her kids before a jeering mob of 80,000, pleading for scraps, essentially auctioning them off to the highest bidder in this den of vice. The Greens, the ones who caused this mess, sneer and look away, heartless, final. But the Blues, smelling an opportunity to one-up their rivals, throw a bone and hook up the family's new stepdad with work. That split-second betrayal, it sears into Theodora's mind like a brand she vows silent revenge on the Greens, while quietly noting the Blues' mercy. Fast forward to age 10, and Theodora's plunged headfirst into the hippodrome's nightmare underbelly. Her signature act? The infamous Leda and the Swan, a spectacle straight from hell. Envision her tiny frame, exposed and vulnerable under the harsh glare of torches, lying naked on the cold stage as trained geese swarm her body, pecking at scattered barley while the crowd erupts in frenzied cheers, hurling coins that clink like mocking laughter. Her skin prickles with fear, every peck a stab of shame, the stares from leering men burning like fire. But it's only the opening act. The real terror lurks backstage, where kids barely 8 years old are dragged into shadowy rooms to entertain the elite senators with twisted grins, merchants flashing gold, all demanding services that no child should know. Byzantine laws seal the deal. Actresses are legally trash, equated to prostitutes, their bodies up for grabs. It's organized destruction, a factory of broken souls. Yet, amid the screams and shadows, Theodora doesn't shatter. While others crumble into despair, she's a silent observer, her sharp eyes dissecting every moment. Night after night, she watches powerful men unravel senators, reduced to whimpering fools, merchants spilling secrets in their desperation. It's a savage education in human frailty, turning the stage into her secret academy of manipulation. She learns to wield desire like a dagger, spotting vulnerabilities that these masters never see coming. The hippodrome? It's no longer her prison, it's her forge, hammering her into a weapon of cunning and steel. Let's zoom out on this brutal setup. The hippodrome was Constantinople's beating heart, a colossal coliseum where 80,000 souls crammed in for spectacle and strife. The Blues and Greens didn't just hype the games. They ran the city's underbelly, dictating careers, alliances, and downfalls. For a vulnerable kid like Theodora, tangled in this web, every day was a gamble with death. Her father's sudden end didn't just orphan her, it hurled her into a pit where children became commodities, traded like cheap goods in a glittering empire of gold and gore. This raw betrayal, this endless torment, it's the fuel exploding in Theodora's veins. The Greens' sleaze and the hippodrome's savagery don't crush her spirit. They sculpt it into something lethal. She's mastering the art of reading souls, surviving by turning the tables on those who see her as prey. And trust me, she'll carry these scars far from the stage, transforming agony into a force that topples kings. Could you endure the hippodrome's brutal glare at 10, feeling every eye strip you bear? Stick with us, the storm's just brewing, and Theodora's revenge is about to unleash. By age 16, Theodora's no longer the scared kid on the hippodrome stage. She's the star attraction, the one everyone whispers about. Her body draws the crowds, but it's her sharp mind that's turning heads. Senators and merchants aren't just paying for a night. They're spilling their souls, revealing secrets in the heat of the moment. She's mastered the art of intimate warfare, using every touch, every glance to probe weaknesses, turning pleasure into power. But opportunity knocks when Hesebolas, the ruthless governor of Libya, a man commanding armies and endless wealth, spots her during a visit to Constantinople. He's not content with one performance. He wants her all to himself, offering a life of luxury as his personal concubine. For Theodora, it's a lifeline out of the arena's grind, a chance to escape the coins and crowds. Or so she thinks. Libya, 516 AD. The sun-baked palace walls gleam like gold, but inside, it's a gilded cage. Hesebolas parades her like a trophy, showering her with silks and jewels, while she plays the perfect lover. But Theodora's not lounging in bliss, she's dissecting him. Every whispered fantasy, every desperate plea in the dead of night teaches her how to twist a man's desires into chains. She learns his shames, his obsessions, how a simple denial can make this mighty governor crumble like sand. He's the one with the legions, but in their private chambers, she's the general, waging a silent war on his will. For 4 years, she hones this deadly skill, realizing that powerful men are puppets when you control their cravings. It's intoxicating, this reversal, the abused becoming the abuser. Then, the betrayal hits like a sandstorm. Theodora pushes too far, whispering political advice laced with her manipulations, steering his decisions from the shadows. Hesebolas snaps, rage exploding in the scorching heat. "Get out, you worthless whore!" he bellows, hurling her belongings into the blistering Libyan desert. She stands there, sweat mixing with tears of fury, the dust choking her throat as she watches her luxury life vanish in a whirlwind. Abandoned with nothing but her wits, she's back to square one, surviving on the edge, her body the only currency left. But this isn't defeat. It's the crucible that tempers her into something unbreakable. The journey home across the Mediterranean becomes her odyssey of vengeance, a high-stakes adventure through storm-tossed seas and shadowy ports. Ship by ship, she sells herself to captains, merchants, and smugglers, the salt spray stinging her face like slaps from fate. Cramped below decks, the air reeking of unwashed bodies and despair, she endures the grabs and grunts, but her eyes are always calculating. The Roman trader who pays extra for intelligent talk. She pries out his trade routes, filing them away like daggers for later. The captain offering free passage, she uncovers his hidden smuggling ops, turning his lust into leverage. Each encounter is a thrill of danger. Will this man be kind or cruel? A fool or a threat? But Theodora thrives in the chaos, her survival instincts razor sharp, transforming every sweaty embrace into a masterclass in male fragility. She's not just enduring, she's conquering, building an arsenal of secrets that could topple fortunes. In the bustling streets of Alexandria, amid the scent of spices and the hum of ancient markets, she hits a turning point. She converts to Monophysite Christianity under Patriarch Timothy III. Not some tearful spiritual awakening, but a cold, calculated move. Think of it like joining a secret club. Monophysites believed Christ had one divine nature, clashing with the mainstream Chalcedonian view that split it into human and divine. This rift tore the Byzantine Empire apart, with emperors juggling loyalties to keep peace. For Theodora, It's perfect a network of believers outside the old trafficking world. A power base she can call her own. No more relying on men who discard her. Now she's weaving alliances that reach into churches and courts. Pushing on to Antioch, the drama escalates when she crosses paths with Macedonia, a blues faction insider who's been feeding intel back to Constantinople. Over flickering oil lamps in a dingy tavern, Macedonia drops a bombshell. A 40-year-old prince named Justinian has been asking pointed questions about the former circus girl who tamed a governor and survived the desert. Whispers of Theodora's cunning have spread like wildfire, stories of a woman who bends rulers with a whisper, who turns abandonment into armor. Her reputation precedes her, a mix of scandal and awe that sets hearts racing. As her ship slices through the waves toward Constantinople's golden horizon, Theodora stands at the rail, wind whipping her hair, a storm brewing in her eyes. The girl who left in chains returns as a predator, armed with lessons from luxury's fall and the sea's harsh truths. She's ready to unleash her intimate arsenal on the Empire's elite, where one wrong move could mean death. The stage is set for her greatest conquest, yet a prince who thinks he's in control, but hasn't met her fury. Hang on tight. The real fireworks are about to explode. 522 AD. Constantinople's glittering courts hum with intrigue, and Prince Justinian, a 40-year-old heir, with a mind for law and conquest, attends an elite gathering. He's no fool, ambitious, calculating, but when his eyes lock on Theodora, the former Hippodrome star now radiating confidence and mystery, he's hooked. She's not the broken girl anymore. She's a force, blending stunning beauty with a razor, sharp wit that cuts through small talk like a blade. Their seduction unfolds like a high-stakes game. Late-night conversations where she teases his intellect. Private moments where she reveals just enough vulnerability to draw him in deeper. Justinian thinks he's the pursuer, but Theodora's pulling the strings, deploying every trick from her arsenal, subtle touches that ignite his desires, whispered insights that make him feel seen. It's electric, a dance of power where she's always one step ahead, turning his growing obsession into her greatest weapon. But love in an empire isn't simple, it's war. Justinian declares he wants to marry her, and the palace explodes in outrage. Senators whisper in shadowed halls, marry a former actress, a woman who's entertained the masses in ways no royal should touch. The scandal ripples like wildfire, nobles clutching their pearls as rumors fly about her past performances. Theodora stands tall amid the storm, her dark eyes defiant, knowing this is her moment to flip the script. Yet the real barrier isn't gossip, it's ancient law. Constantine's edicts from centuries ago slam the door shut. No senator, let alone an heir, can wed an actress. Once tainted by the stage, always tainted, a rule designed to keep lowly entertainers from contaminating the elite. Justinian pushes back, drafting reforms, but the court resists, seeing Theodora as a threat, a climber who could upend their world. Enter the ultimate showdown, Empress Euphemia, a former slave who's clawed her way to the top through sheer will. She's no stranger to hardship, but when she faces Theodora, it's like staring into a mirror of ambition gone dark. Euphemia blocks every move, her voice thundering in court. I rose from slavery, but I was never a whore. The confrontation crackles with tension, two women, survivors of brutal worlds, clashing over power. Euphemia's finger jabs accusingly, her face twisted in disdain, as she forbids Theodora from palace events, rallies allies to kill the marriage bill. The air thickens with suspense, whispers of poison and plots swirl. Theodora, outwardly calm, simmers with rage, her mind racing through lessons from Libya's betrayal, how to wait, watch, and strike. Then, on a chilling night in 523, Euphemia dies suddenly in her sleep. No illness, no warning, just a cold body discovered at dawn. The palace buzzes with shock. Was it fate? Or something sinister? Theodora's past whispers back old tricks from the hippodrome's underbelly. Herbs that silence threats without a trace. Suspicion hangs heavy, but no proof surfaces. Within hours, Emperor Justinian's uncle, green lights the new law, tailored so precisely it might as well have Theodora's name etched in gold. The reform of 525 shatters the old barriers, allowing reformed actresses to marry nobility, a seismic shift in Byzantine society, opening doors for women from the fringes to claim power. Their wedding in Hagia Sophia is pure theater. Theodora glides down the marble aisle in imperial purple, her veil hiding a triumphant smile as whispers echo off the domes. It's not just vows. It's her coronation, the ultimate reversal from stage prop to co-ruler. Justinian gazes at her with unwavering devotion, his judgment clouded by the obsession she's carefully cultivated. But this union isn't romance. It's alliance forged in fire. Theodora steps into advisory roles immediately, whispering strategies in council meetings, her voice carrying weight that silences doubters. She's no silent consort. She's as equal, shaping policies from the shadows. Yet beneath the silken gold, tension simmers. The court seethes with envy, plotting against the upstart Empress. Theodora feels the knives at her back, her survival instincts on high alert. This marriage catapults her to power, but the real test looms, a rebellion that will force her to unleash the fury she's bottled for years. Brace yourself. The empire's about to ignite, and Theodora's ready to burn it all if needed. January 532 AD. Constantinople erupts like a powder keg. Flames leaping from building to building as angry mobs surge through the narrow streets, their chants of Nika, conquer, echoing like thunder. What starts as a simple chariot race brawl between the blues and greens spirals into something unprecedented. The two bitter rivals uniting for the first time, their combined fury aimed straight at the throne. Taxes crush the poor, corruption rots the courts, and whispers blame the imperial couple for it all. But deep down, the rage targets Theodora, the former whore, who dared rise from the hippodrome's filth to rule beside Justinian. The city burns. The ancient Hagia Sophia crackles and collapses in a shower of sparks. The Senate House turns to ash with centuries of laws inside. Government officials hack down in pools of blood that slick the cobblestones. The metallic tang of slaughter mixes with acrid smoke, turning the air into a choking haze. Military units defect, tossing shields to join the rebels, while the emperor's own guards whisper mutiny. The palace trembles as 30 voices demand death for the corrupt empress. For Theodora, watching from high windows as flames lick the sky, it's eerily familiar, the same wild energy that once cheered her childhood humiliations, now baying for her head. But fear, that's for the weak. This chaos mirrors her past crowds, and she knows mobs like the back of her scarred hand. Unpredictable, but manipulable if you strike at the right moment. The rebels push their luck, crowning Hypatius, a nephew of a former emperor, as the new ruler in a makeshift ceremony amid the ruins. Cheers ripple through districts as families flock to the hippodrome, believing victory's at hand. Ships in the harbor groan under treasury gold. Evacuation plans whispered in frantic huddles. Justinian's advisors, faces pale with terror, beg him to flee. "Save yourself, Emperor. The city's lost." The council chamber reeks of sweat and desperation, candles flickering shadows across maps of escape routes. Then, in the heart of the panic, Theodora rises. Her silk robes whisper like a predator's breath as she commands the room, her voice slicing through the fear like a dagger. This isn't just defiance. It's the culmination of every betrayal, every leering face from her youth. Now is no time for flight, even if it brings safety. she declares, her eyes locking on Justinian with the intensity of a woman who stared down worse. May I never be stripped of this purple, and may I not live that day when men do not address me as mistress. The words hang heavy, charged with the ghosts of her past, the coins thrown at her naked body, the men who used her. But her killer line seals fates. As for me, I approve the ancient saying that royalty is a good burial shroud. Its raw, unyielding revenge. The crowds demanding her death represent every abuser, every corrupt green who abandoned her family. Justinian, still ensnared by her hold after years, chooses blood over exile. The counterstrike is ruthless genius, straight from Theodora's playbook of crowd control. Generals Belisarius and Mundus, loyal blades, wait for the rebels' victory bash in the Hippodrome 100. Zero packed in, drunk on triumph. Then, the trap springs. Iron gates slam shut with a deafening clang, sealing exits like a tomb. Soldiers pour in, swords flashing under torchlight, methodically carving through the throng. Screams pierce the air as families fall, women clutching children, men swinging makeshift weapons in vain. Blood soaks the sand where Theodora once performed, turning the arena into a slaughterhouse. The irony bites deep. The same venue that taught her to endure violent spectacles now stages her ultimate payback. 30. Zero corpses piling up as silence falls by dusk. Not one rebel leader escapes. The Hippodrome, once her prison, becomes their graveyard. This isn't random violence, it's calculated, born from economic woes like crushing taxes on the poor and rigged justice that favored the rich. The Nika riots expose the empire's fractures, where faction rivalries boil over into class war. But Theodora's stand saves the throne, proving her steel. In the aftermath, Justinian rebuilds grander than before. The new Hagia Sophia rises as a domed marvel, its mosaics gleaming a symbol of resilience, funded by rebel spoils. The riot scars reshape the city, with stronger walls and reformed laws, but at a horrific cost. Theodora emerges unbreakable, her influence cemented. Yet this bloodbath is just the prelude. Her network of shadows will soon hunt down every lingering threat. The empire trembles. Her reign of calculated terror is dawning. With the stench of 30, zero corpses still lingering in the Hippodrome's blood-soaked sand, Theodora doesn't rest, she strikes. 532's ashes forge her into the empire's unseen enforcer, her private chambers becoming a web of whispers and daggers. She builds a shadow government, a network of eunuchs and trusted women gliding through palace corridors like ghosts, eavesdropping on forbidden trysts, cataloging shameful secrets that could topple titans. Who beds whom? What twisted preferences make senators sweat? Theodora's spies deliver it all, turning intimate dirt into deadly ammunition. And her new ritual? Every visitor must kiss her feet alongside Justinian's, a public humiliation that mirrors her childhood degradations, now reversed with vicious glee. Bow low, or face the abyss. Her assassinations unfold like a thriller's darkest chapters, each elimination a masterstroke of psychological torment. First target, Pope Silverius in 537, a stubborn cleric refusing to reinstate her Monophysite ally. No holy debates here. Theodora weaves a web of deceit through General Belisarius and his wife Antonina, fabricating treason ties to the invading Goths. Silverius, once untouchable in his Vatican robes, finds himself accused, isolated, his papal throne crumbling under paranoia. Exiled to a barren island, he wastes away, his death a quiet victory for the Empress, who knows fear breaks minds faster than blades. But jealousy fuels her deadliest play. Queen Amalasuntha of the Ostrogoths in 535, a noble-born ruler exchanging letters with Justinian. Theodora's spies report the details late-night readings, lingering over words that hint at more than diplomacy. It's too familiar. Intellectual seduction. The same hooks she used to snare her husband. Rage boils as she imagines Amalasuntha stealing his gaze. Her letters a threat to Theodora's hard-won control. No mercy for rivals. Through Ambassador Peter, she fans King Theodahad's suspicions, whispering encouragements until he snaps. Amalasuntha's end is intimate horror strangled in her bath. Steam rising around her thrashing form. Vulnerability turned fatal. Theodora sleeps soundly. One less queen in her path. Her masterpiece, though, is John the Cappadocian in 541. The Praetorian prefect whose iron grip on taxes rivals her influence over Justinian. John's no fool, he sees through manipulations, immune to her charms. So Theodora unleashes a 6-month campaign of terror, mirroring the mental breakdowns she endured as a child. Daily gifts arrive at his door. Wilted flowers symbolizing decay. Tiny daggers glinting with implied threats. Gruesome paintings of executions that echo the violence lurking in every performer's nightmare. John unravels sleepless nights, turn him paranoid. Shadows making him jump. Sweat beading during routine meetings. He's reliving her trauma, piece by crumbling piece. The trap closes with deadly precision. Teaming with Antonina, 2 women forged in fire, Theodora uses John's own daughter as bait in a fake conspiracy meet. Hidden agents record every treasonous word, the noose tightening in a heartbeat. John falls from power to beggary in Egyptian streets, his empire shattered. It's poetic. A man broken by the same mind games that once nearly destroyed her. These kills aren't random, they're surgical, eliminating threats while reshaping the empire. Theodora's intelligence net rivals modern spies. Her methods a blend of seduction and steel learned in back rooms and deserts. Now, the reforms. Her revenge codified into law. She slams shut brothels across the realm, freeing women from the chains she knew too well, punishing keepers who trapped them. The Metanoia convent rises as a sanctuary, forcing former prostitutes into religious life, a controlling twist, but one that saves lives from the streets. In criminal justice, she revolutionizes. Rape becomes a death sentence, no matter the victim's rank, with perpetrators' wealth handed to survivors. Divorce rights expand for abused wives, a direct strike against the men who wield physical power like weapons. These aren't feel-good policies, they're her fury etched in stone, ensuring no girl suffers her fate while arming women with tools she wished she'd had. Her Monophysite faith fuels global moves, supporting missions to Nubia, spreading the one nature Christ doctrine amid empire-wide rifts. Chalcedonians push back, but Theodora brokers deals, her religious network a shield against orthodox foes. It's empire building with a spiritual edge, her alliances stretching from palaces to distant sands. Yet power's price shows. Justinian leans heavier on her counsel, the court trembling at her gaze. These years cement her as predator supreme, victimhood alchemized into domination. But as health fades, what legacy will this whirlwind leave? The end approaches, fierce and unforgiving. June 28, 548 AD. Theodora's chambers fall silent as cancer claims her at 48. Her once vibrant frame wasted away in agony. No grand exit, just a quiet end. For the woman who survived deserts, mobs, and empires. Justinian crumbles beside her bed, his world shattering. The emperor who conquered lands and rewrote laws now wanders the palace like a ghost, refusing to remarry, his decisions faltering without her guiding fire. For 17 more years, he rules in shadow, little major legislation passing, proving her mind was the true engine of their reign. It's heartbreaking. A man enslaved by the very obsession she crafted, left hollow in her absence. But Theodora's echo thunders on, The Corpus Juris Civilis, better known as the Codex Justinianus, bears her stamp, a massive legal overhaul that digested centuries of Roman law into a blueprint for justice. Think of it as the empire's ultimate rulebook, influencing everything from contracts to crimes. Her push for women's protections shines through. Harsher penalties for rape, property rights for victims, easier divorces for the abused. These weren't abstract ideas, they stemmed from her scars, turning personal hell into safeguards that rippled across Europe, laying groundwork for modern Western law. Even today, echoes linger in courtrooms worldwide. A quiet revolution from a woman who knew injustice's bite. Religiously, she's immortalized. The Eastern Orthodox Church saints her, mosaics in Ravenna's San Vitale depicting her larger than life, draped in a cloak echoing biblical kings offering gifts to Christ. She's positioned as divine royalty, a far cry from the stage girl pelted with coins. Yet controversy swirls Procopius's secret history, paints her as a manipulative tyrant, exaggerating scandals for spite. Historians debate, villain or visionary, but strip away the bias, and she's a symbol of raw resilience, a woman who flipped victimhood into victory. Here's the human truth. Theodora's story isn't just dark drama. It's a lesson in the power of endurance. Trauma can crush, but it can also forge unbreakable strength, turning pain into purpose. She protected the vulnerable, challenged male dominance, and showed how one person's fight can reshape societies. Yet at what cost? 0 lives in the Hippodrome remind us. Revenge heals nothing if it breeds more suffering. In a world still grappling with abuse and inequality, her tale urges empathy, support survivors, question power, and remember that true change comes from lifting others, not just climbing alone. Thank you for joining Silent Historian on this wild ride through Theodora's shadows. If her journey from victim to icon sparked something in you, hit subscribe for more tales of history's hidden forces and drop a comment below. Do you see Theodora as a hero who empowered women, or a manipulator shaped by her scars? Let's discuss your thoughts. Keep the conversation alive. Until next time, remember, history's monsters often start as the wounded. Stay curious.